More than 60 years ago, this was the largest construction site in the world to build the World Trade Center. It meant going deep underground.
The gigantic foundations had to be built on bedrocks on land that was once part of the Hudson River.
To stop the water from getting into the site, engineers built something like a dam called a slurry wall.
Developed in Europe and being used for the first time in the United States.
154 concrete panels, 70 feet deep, 22 feet long, and 3 feet thick.
It became the permanent basement of the World Trade Center. And the idea was that it would last as long as the Trade Center lasted.
Of course, September 11th, 2001 changed everything.
When I came to the site, everyone was looking above ground, but we knew, and I knew, what was happening below was going to dictate what was going to happen above.
Peter Rinaldi was an engineer with the Port Authority and was called to the World Trade Center site because amid the rubble, they had no idea if the slurry wall held. And if it didn't,
it would have been catastrophic.
Because the World Trade Center connected underground to the PATH station, taking people to and from New Jersey.
So the concern was if the slurry wall collapsed, you would get an uncontrolled flow from the Hudson River into the Trade Center complex, the slurry wall, down through the PATH tunnel. The water would flow across to New Jersey to the Exchange Place station. It would then continue in the tunnels that connect to Christopher Street and would go all the way up to 14th Street. 14th Street station connects with the New York City subway system. So everything that would have been below the level of the Hudson River would have flooded, which is all of the transportation tunnels and subways in Lower Manhattan.
A potential disaster below ground, on top of the one that had unfolded above ground.
It would have taken years to recover from that.
That's why at the end of September, Rinaldi says the PATH station tunnels were plugged up, and he says the MTA sealed part of the one train tunnel too.
Found the wall, and basically the wall was really structurally intact. It just wasn't supported in many places.
Debris from the towers was in fact often holding the wall up, but one panel along Liberty Street,
the wall was starting to move and fail.
He says it was a race against time to secure this panel and reinforce all the others. A 24/7 job with shifts for Rinaldi, typically 12 hours.
And I used to say 1 week at the site was like a month of work anywhere else because of what was going on.
And it wasn't until February of 2002, Rinaldi says, that he felt the wall was truly stabilized and safe.
The general public, they didn't have any idea of what we were facing and what we were doing down there.
But now, anyone can learn the story of the slurry wall.
This is a very interesting reminder that nothing is ever over.
Jan Ramirez is the curator at the 9/11 Memorial and Museum, where part of the slurry wall stands today.
And we certainly didn't think it would be an active presence as an artifact.
It's still a functional, structurally sound wall, and now the museum works to preserve it.
I'm trying to see if this is the type of salt that will harm the fabric of the wall.
Andy Wolf is the associate conservator at the museum and collects the sediment they find from the water leaking through.
It was designed to keep water out, but it's never a perfect watertight seal.
He then tests it to make sure it's not damaging the slurry wall.
We do our best to monitor those and remove them if we need to.
It's one of the many tools Wolf and his team use to preserve the wall, which the museum has received more than $1 million in grants to maintain, what is an important part of the 9/11 story.
Thousands upon thousands survived. And this wall is a survivor also.
And standing before it, it takes Peter Rinaldi back.
Still somewhat emotional when you look at this.
He thinks about the friends he lost in the towers, the long hours below ground, the tough work, and ultimately,
it was an honor to be part of this response.
That beneath the rubble, the wall would stand tall.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest news and weather updates every 10 minutes and more. We'll see you then.